What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, it's almost a given, since this is a Chicago Bulls channel, that we'll find a way to talk about one of the players that has revolutionized the Chicago Bulls team in the past, and someone that we all, or most of us, the vast majority of people, would want to come back to the Chicago Bulls in Derrick Rose. Now, at the end of the day, again, he's a cult figure in many ways. He's a guy that many people look up to. He's a fan favorite in Chicago, fan favorite around the league, I would say, as well. And, of course, every single season we will find a way to talk about Derrick Rose until eventually he does join the Chicago Bulls, or if that never ends up happening, well, then I guess we'll know that answer once the time comes. However, we will be talking about Derrick Rose today. We'll be talking about whether or not he can join the Chicago Bulls team next season, whether or not it's a good idea in, I guess, many ways, as well as my own opinion on the situation, because, again, I'd like giving my opinion on this channel. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls, whether or not you would like to see Derrick Rose, I guess, play for the Chicago Bulls next season. Now, first and foremost, this video is coming based on the fact that the New York Knicks have been eliminated from playoff contention in a good battle against the Miami Heat. Very defensive minded, very, I would say, gritty grind type of series in which the New York Knicks, they gave everything, especially guys like Jalen Brunson. Congratulations on having a very big playoff series for him. But the Knicks did end up falling short, and they got eliminated by the Miami Heat. So with that being said, the rumors are now starting to stir up about Derrick Rose. The whole conversations and rumors are starting to heat up about Derrick Rose and his potential future in the NBA. And with that in mind, every single time Derrick Rose gets linked to something, there's a high chance the Chicago Bulls are going to be in the exact same piece, in the exact same article, in the exact same tweet, in this exact same video. So I guess that begs the question, should Derrick Rose join the Chicago Bulls next season? Well, he didn't play a lot for the New York Knicks. I don't have the exact stats with me, but I don't think I need the exact stats with me. He was not a big part of the New York Knicks team. He kind of, I guess, transitioned more into a locker leader type of role, in which he wasn't playing a whole lot of minutes, but he was a guy that was kind of a mentor, teaching guys like Jalen Brunson, teaching guys like Quickly, teaching guys, even some of the bigger bodies like a Mitchell Robertson or Julius Randle, you know, just being that mentor type guy, not playing significant big minutes on that team. And that's a bit of a new role for Derrick Rose, because I'm sure in his heart of hearts, he does feel like he can bring something to the table. I'm sure he felt like he could have made a difference in that playoff series. I feel like he could have made a big difference in any team that he was actually a part of, but New York didn't really give him that chance, in all honesty, which is a little bit disappointing. But at the end of the day, the fact that he got no minutes with the New York Knicks probably opened up opportunities for Derrick Rose to go and expand and look into what other teams may be willing to offer him and stuff of that nature. Now, he's not a restricted or unrestricted free agent. I believe he will be getting paid by the New York Knicks next season around $14 million. So that is something we have to consider. The Bulls are not necessarily financially free to go and spend that much money, or to go and make a trade involving that amount of salary. So you got to keep that in mind. That is a potential stumbling block for the Chicago Bulls in their pursuit of Derrick Rose, if they need to pursue Derrick Rose. But all in all, I do feel like point guard help is a necessity. I don't think we really have true point guards on this team. Again, look at the lineup that we have in terms of that true point guard spot. You won't find many on the Chicago Bulls team. Kobe White, someone that did play some point guard for the Chicago Bulls this season, did improve his playmaking ability at the end of the season. Someone that values himself as an on-ball and off-ball guard, which congratulations to him. And someone I'd like the Bulls to keep around, but not a true point guard. Obviously, you go into some of the other areas. Ayo Dosunmu, not necessarily a true point guard either. Someone that can play on the ball and off the ball. Caruso is the same. Patrick Beverley is the same. We had Goran Dragic, but he obviously wasn't really getting the big minutes that he probably would have wanted, or was even promised at the time. So that was obviously a situation as well. All in all, we don't have a lot of true point guards on this team. Derrick Rose has been playing point guard for the vast majority of his career. Only a couple of stages that I really, you know, when he was playing with LeBron, he was kind of a corner shooter in many ways. They didn't really know how to use Derrick Rose at that time. That was probably the only time I would argue he wasn't a true point guard for his team. But he is a guy that will come into this team and play point guard. So if you're looking for point guard help, Derrick Rose can help in that department. I truly believe in my heart of hearts he has something to offer in the NBA still. well. I don't think he's quite ready to just be a cheerleader, mentor type of player. I understand that he was willing to do that for the Knicks, but I don't think that is what his career should be, I guess, defined as for the next foreseeable future. I still think he can offer something to an NBA team. I still think he can offer something in terms of being that player that you can depend on for reliable minutes off of the bench. I really believe he could still be that player. So there are a lot of questions there. For Derrick Rose, I would wholeheartedly consider, if he was to move teams, he should consider contending teams, because he's not getting any younger. He doesn't necessarily have a lot of time left at the NBA level. Let's be honest, we have to be realistic. Time catches up with everybody, and time may be catching up with Derrick Rose as we speak. So in order for him to maybe go and achieve that desire to win a championship, which should be every player's dream at the end of the day, hopefully he still has, I guess, teams there that are contending that would be willing to give Derrick Rose a chance. A team that comes to mind for me, a team like the Phoenix Suns, someone that has a Devin Booker, a Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton. They obviously got eliminated from the playoffs. They need bench depth. Well, Derrick Rose, in my opinion, can provide that in many ways, I truly believe, for the Phoenix Suns. You know, a team like that is what I'm trying to say, can really need the depth that Derrick Rose can provide. I would hope he would consider contending, but as a Bulls fan, I am selfish. I am absolutely selfish, and all I can really say is I want Derrick Rose to play his final seasons with the Chicago Bulls. It's exactly how I feel about Jimmy Butler. There was a quote one time, I remember this fondly, about Jimmy Butler saying, when he got traded from Chicago, one day he would like to play and retire as a Chicago Bull. Now, I'm not sure if that feeling is still the same at this point in time, but if it is, I would absolutely love Jimmy Butler back on this team when he's, I guess, getting towards the end of his career. And I'd like the same for Derrick Rose. I want Derrick Rose to play out his final years here, and I do think there is a spot for him here in which he could definitely help the Chicago Bulls team and take us to the next level, being a true point guard. But what I will say is this: I've said it before and I've said it again, Derrick Rose should not be our only target if we're going for point guard help, in my opinion. Now again, he's a great player, but he's also not a player that I don't think he should be starting for the Chicago Bulls, let's say. I think he's a guy that has spent most of his seasons recently off of the bench and playing good minutes off of the bench as well. I want that to be his role here in Chicago as well. The only game I'd really want to see him start him in is the first home game if he was to come here, because I want to hear that not ring announcement, sorry, I'm thinking of a different sport, but just the announcement of the teams and the lineups. I want that to happen for Derrick Rose one more time. I want that nostalgia, I want that feeling once again. But outside of that, he shouldn't be starting for the Chicago Bulls. He should be a guy that could be very dependable off of the bench, and therefore we should still look for point guard help. We should still look for a starting point guard in my eyes. Now that could be trading some of the other assets we have on this team to go and get a point guard. It could be maybe bringing Kobe White to the starting point guard role if you feel like that's the direction you want to go down. It could be a variety of things that we need to do, but that's what should happen. If you go for Derrick Rose, that's great. I believe he'll be a good asset off of the bench. He'll make our bench better. But outside of that, we should be looking for a starting point guard as well in my eyes. And some of the guys that are on this team may not be here in the long term, which means I believe you have the room to make that happen. Now, of course, to get Derrick Rose, you'd probably need to trade for him. What is the New York Knicks willing to give up? In all honesty, I don't think the New York Knicks are willing to give up that much, or would want that much, and my apologies for Derrick Rose. I truly don't believe so. At the end of the day, look, Derrick Rose is someone I still believe can offer something, but at the end of the day, in the role that he's playing in, if the New York Knicks are truly trying to get rid of him in the offseason, if they're demanding a high amount, they're ridiculously naive, in my opinion. You don't play someone all season and then ask for a high amount. So the way that I see it, I think a second round pick and maybe to fill in the salary for the Bulls could be an ideal way to go. You know, maybe trade a player, I would say at least one player in a second round pick, maybe just a second round pick if you have the salary already there for this Bulls team, if you make a big transformation. I'm not too sure, but I don't think it's going to take a whole lot to get Derrick Rose onto this team. So my answer is, I would absolutely love Derrick Rose on this team. I am selfish. I want him to play his final years out with the Chicago Bulls. I want him to retire as a Bull. I want all those things to happen, and I don't want the one day contracts like what I guess Luol Deng did. I think he did that, and I think Joakim Noah did the same. As much as it's very sentimental and it does mean a lot for those players, and I really admire those players, I think for Derrick Rose, it's kind of like the Kobe Bryant treatment in many ways. I guess not as big, because Kobe Bryant was a massive figure, one of the greatest of all time. Don't think Derrick Rose will finish in that category, but at the end of the day, it's like a one last ride for the Chicago Bulls fans. Every single Bulls fan will be cheering for Derrick Rose every single game. You know, that type of environment, I can truly see it. It's envisioned in my head how I see that going. So I want that for Derrick Rose. But at the same time, I want Derrick Rose to win a championship. Can this Bulls team provide that for him? Right now, the answer is no. So if it's Derrick Rose making the decision, I really would hope he would consider going to a contending team, because I want that for him. And I don't think New York will be providing that for him. I don't think the Bulls will be providing that for him. I think he would have to go to a contending team, and I think Phoenix is the team that I'm looking at and says would fit right into that system. So again, we'll have to wait and see. Time will tell, but I am selfish. If he wants to join the Chicago Bulls and the Bulls want to sign him on and he can play a big factor on this team, there's nothing more I'd love in this world to see Derrick Rose play for this team once again. And that's really it for the Chicago Bulls video. Of course, my Derrick Rose video. I'm sure at some point during the offseason we will talk about him again. So this is not the final time. It probably won't be the final time. It'll never be the final time. Even when he's retired, there's going to be a jersey retirement for Derrick Rose. We're going to be looking back at some of the great memories we've had with Derrick Rose and stuff of that nature. Again, it's definitely not going to be the last time we ever talk about Derrick Rose, but I do want him here. It's as simple as that. Will it happen? I know the vast majority of Bulls fans want it to happen. There are some that don't really care about the sentimental value of things and just want to move on and progress as a team and not look back and not look at history. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I've seen people in the past get the recognition they deserve, and I just want Derrick Rose to get the same thing with the Chicago Bulls team, and he has. We always cheer Derrick Rose when he plays in Chicago. We do it every single time. And again, Kobe Bryant, when he had his celebration, I guess his last season, you know, the tour, everybody celebrated Kobe Bryant and what he was able to do for his team, and every single arena cheered for him. Again, it was a really good goodbye. I really think the same thing will happen for LeBron. I know a lot of people hate LeBron, the LeBron versus MJ debates, whatever it may be. When LeBron officially says it's his last season, I can guarantee you most arenas will be cheering him every single time. It's going to happen to the best of the best players, and I think Derrick Rose should deserve the same treatment, and I'd love it to be with this Bulls team. Anyway, I've said all I needed to say. With all that being said, have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.